And finally, last but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce Mr. Otis Halfmoon. Otis has been a member of the National Park Service for over 25 years now, I believe. He's held a number of positions working in national parks and did a lot of work with the Lewis and Clark National Stork Trail. He's recently been a tribal liaison for the National Trails Office in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Otis is Nez Perce and has been a MC and a powwow dancer for many years. He's also been a personal friend for many years. He's contributed a great deal to the National Park Service. He just recently began a position as the American Indian Services Specialist with the National Park Service based out of Washington, D.C. And I'm very proud to introduce him right now.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I've been thinking long and hard since this morning what I want to say. I know during the breaks and everything, I listened to all the speakers. Some powerful stories that we have heard here today. And again, we come together. But you know, before I go into what I really want to go into, what I want to conclude with, I believe the Sand Creek National Historical Site has set a very, very high standard now within the National Park Service. As far as the consultation process, again, working with the tribes, the Cheyenne, Arapaho people. I've attended one of the other sessions there in Bent's Old Fort last year. I think it was last year. And I think the work of Superintendent Alexa Roberts is outstanding in what she has done. And also the tribal liaison Karen Wild as well, what they have done. I know they're here to my right and they're kind of shy, but why don't you give them a round of applause one more time? And that's how you lulu, Alexa. But again, we had a planning meeting last night again to talk about this. And again, it's really something to see the relationship that exists here between the tribes and this particular park. Many of our parks within the National Park System has much to learn from watching this dialogue and this relationship. As I mentioned, as she mentioned, I've been in the Park Service for 25 years plus, stationed across this country of ours. I believe in the National Park Service for what it stands for, with the tribal people. That we have much in common. We have much in common, us American Indians and the National Park Service. That is administration, preservation, interpretation, management of our cultural and natural resources. That is the common denominator that we have between the National Park Service and the tribes. And that is the challenge that we had to go out for to other national park units as well. We challenge them out there to be like Sand Creek, to reach out, to get the stories that are out there, to get the untold stories, the stories that can already enrich an already rich story. That is utmost for many of the tribal people as employees that work within the National Park Service. I myself, as you probably may perhaps read about a little bit about my past there, is that I'm a res boy. I was born and raised on a res in Nez Perce Reservation, Lapwai, Idaho. I know my cultures, I sweat. I knew the elders. I knew the stories of my tribe as well. And last night during our little gathering, we had laughter. We found out that we know each other. I'm a Nez Perce, and I'm sitting there visiting with the Cheyenne and the Arapaho. But we're all related one way or the other. I was speaking to Henrietta Mann last night. And I found out that she was as an adopted sister for one of our elders from the Nez Perce Reservation, Dr. Horace Axtell. And even make it even more close, Henrietta Mann and I discussed this as well, that her aunt is buried on my reservation. We have these stories. We have intermarriages. When you are hurt, we all hurt. When you hear again the cries, again the sadness in your words, what happened here in this site here behind me, this picture. We feel that sadness as well, all of us Indian people. It is a powerful time here, ladies and gentlemen. With your presence here, with you being here, you have honored us, you have blessed us. You can take these words with you, these powerful words that you have heard from the heart, academic words, all those various styles that you heard, take them back with you. These words are power. They are medicine. And words can hurt and they can heal. Let this be a healing process for our Indian people. I use that word healing. You heard that quite a bit today, and I'm very, very glad to hear that word heal. Among many of the tribes, many of us, we do not use the word reconciliation. You hear that word reconciliation. But if you dissect that word, that means, in accounting terms, it means the books are balanced. As far as many of the Indian people believe, the books will never be balanced. But we can heal. And we can teach our children. Just as you heard many people talk, the tribal council members, the leaders in the communities, we must tell our children, we must teach our children that within the blood of our children is the blood of warriors, chiefs, leaders of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people. Teach our children this. And the people that are not Cheyenne and Arapaho, you can teach your children this as well. That we do not need these gains. We don't need that type of mentality. The drug abuse, alcoholism, we don't need that. This is what our people fought for us to be here. On a personal note, I know the pain I've heard many of them express. My tribe as well. We had our wars and fights with the government. At the Big Hole National Battlefield in Montana, over 100 of my people were killed by the soldiers, men, women, and children, to include my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandmother, died in that battle fighting against these soldiers. And I found out from listening to many of you, about the same age I am. I grew up in the 60s. Pretty ornery. I sat there with the best of them, bad-mouthing the United States government, bad-mouthing white people, doing all that things like that, and I even learned how to sing the AIM song. It probably wasn't very correct, but I tried. But I was that way. My mom, my dad used to tell me all the time that I should not be that way. My father was a tribal politician of our Nez Perce people. For 37 years, he was on tribal council. He was also a World War II veteran, combat veteran in the Battle of the Rhineland. He told me again, how can you say this about the American flag? I had friends that died for that flag. I just walked away. I didn't know what to say. And my mom would tell me as well, too, who's a very strong Presbyterian. She told me you cannot treat the white people that way or think about them. You're just as guilty how they look upon us. I sat there and looked at my mom, and I didn't know what to say again. And here I thought I knew everything. But my mom taught me some things as I learned through life. Because right after that, I joined the military. Believe it or not, I was not drafted. I enlisted. Boy, that was a mistake. I served my country. Come back home. And I learned one thing again, as my mom used to say, that we are all one people. That we all going to die someday. Each and every one of us will die. We all go to Mother Earth. And she's going to take us. She's not going to spit me back out because I'm Indian, or them as white, black, Hispanic, Asian. Mother Earth is going to take us every time. We are one people with one sky above us. That's the strongest teaching my mom ever told me. You heard today again, too, that we are still here. Again, I challenge many of you folks as well. I know many of you folks probably have. But if you have not, you can see the strength of the 21st century Indian today at things like powwows. Might be a strange thing to say, but again, you see the pride. You see the strength of the dancers, and they come out for the grand entry. You see again to the pride in the eyes, and the way they braid their hair, the way they conduct themselves in the dance arena, various men's categories, whether it be northern, southern, traditional, grass, fancy, feather, chicken. You see them out there. You see the women coming out into the dance arena. The pride and the strength of Indian women. You'll see it in them, in their eyes. As I say, and I MC powwows as well, if it was not for the Indian women, our families would not be together. Nothing more beautiful in the whole world than Indian women, I will say. You see them coming out there, northern, southern, traditional, fancy shawl, jingle. Beautiful. And then behind them you see the teen categories, and then the tiny tot categories, junior categories. See the children coming out there enjoying the music, the pride of our youth. I will see things in the future that we will not even probably ever believe in the 21st century. But most important of all is the color guard. You heard many of the speakers say this. We are still here. And we will continue this existence that we live. The color guard will be coming in again, being led in by veterans. Our Indian people, we have served this country. We have served that flag that you see here behind me. World War I. Many of our men went overseas to fight against the Kaiser. And they came back home again with wounds mentally and physically. And you know what? We were not even citizens until 1924. We weren't even citizens of this country, but yet our men, our warriors, went to go fight for this country of ours, for that flag. World War II comes along. Again, our men went overseas, and some of our women as well, to fight against Germany and Japan and Italy. Our men served this country proudly. You heard again too about Iwo Jima, Ira Hayes. You heard about the code talkers. We heard many of them. And they came back home. And then they got the right to vote. It took 2 world wars for our Indian people to get the same rights as everyone else. But we are here. We are warriors. Again, too, Korea, another police action they call it. Our warriors went to go fight over there. And Vietnam, our most unpopular war that we had, which we still suffer from. Some of our veterans out there suffering from Agent Orange. And it's taken many of them. Our brothers. Desert Storm, Afghanistan, Iraq. War is terrible. Things like this should not happen. This is what we can learn. but to the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, you are still here. We are all still here. This is the power of our people. And as I say in IMC powwows, I say it with pride. Thank God I'm an Indian. Thank God I'm an Indian. And I appreciate this time here, an opportunity to say a few words. My thoughts. And to every one of you, you honored us by your attendance, the blessing you have given to us. Aho.
Thank you so much, Otis, for those closing thoughts and for wrapping up this session so appropriately. Thank you so much. And that concludes our session, concludes our symposium. Again, we're very honored to have been here today. We thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to all of the speakers for coming a long way to be here. It was extremely enlightening. I think this will have a very enduring impact, and I want to thank every one of you in the audience for having been here today. Thank you so much.